8 indispensable weapons in the war against sexual sins. It is high time to deal radically with sin, all sin, and, as taboo as it may seem, sexual sin needs to be at the forefront of this cleansing. Probation is about to close. It would be foolish for Christians today not to employ all available weapons against sexual immorality. Satan is waging a most ferocious war against Yahuwah's professed people to ensure that they remain enslaved to pornography and sexual immorality. We have been warned in Scripture that those who engage in sexual sins will be damned. 1 Corinthians 6 verses 9 to 10, Galatians 5 verses 19 to 21. However, no one needs to feel powerless or beyond help in this battle. Praise His name for this fact. We need to willingly use every weapon heaven is availing for us to overcome sexual immorality. Yahushua warned, "If your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you. It is better for you to enter into life lame or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into the everlasting fire." Matthew 18 verse 8. Our elder brother Yahushua is commanding us to be most revolutionary in dealing with sin, i.e., be willing to do all that it takes to succeed in this relentless war. Towards that end, we want to share a list of 8 weapons that need to be utilized by every Christian who is an addict to any form of sexual immorality. We do not list these in any special order. They all need to be seriously implemented simultaneously to ensure a permanent and lasting victory by His grace. Weapon number 1. Start by sharing your addiction story. This is always hard, for sexual addiction is shameful, and victims are often reluctant to share this shame with others. However, sharing your story will go a long way in loosening the hold of addiction. Alcoholics Anonymous has long understood this importance, and they encourage each other seeking freedom from addiction to share their story. The biblical principle for this effective weapon is found in James 5 verse 16. "Confess your faults to one another, and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much." While some may apply the above verse to confessing mutual offences to each other, Calvin explains his different understanding of this verse in the following text. "Many therefore think that James points out here the way of brotherly reconciliation, that is, by mutual acknowledgement of sins. But as it has been said, his object was different, for he connects mutual prayer with mutual confession, by which he intimates that confession avails for this end, that we may be helped as to Yahuwah by the prayers of our brethren, for they who know our necessities are stimulated to pray that they may assist us. But they to whom our diseases are unknown are more tardy to bring us help." WLC Appeal. Overcome your shame and share your story with one or more that you trust, so that they can join you in effectual prayer. You need every help possible in your battle against sexual addiction, and this weapon will ensure that other trusted parties will join you with their fervent prayers. Weapon number 2. Change the environment that leads you into temptation. Cancel any paid TV channels, throw out video store cards, avoid being alone during the day or night, block out pornography from your computer, and cancel subscriptions or memberships to questionable websites or magazines. These are but a few of the steps that you can take. Each pornography addict needs to eliminate from their daily routine all areas of vulnerability and temptation. You need to be radically proactive in cutting out all circumstances that contribute to your sexual addiction, and through which Satan attacks you. Read carefully the following admonitions from our role model, our Master Yahushua. "You have heard that it was said to those of old, You shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. Matthew 5 verses 27 to 30. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe to the world because of offences. For offences must come, but woe to that man by whom the offence comes. If your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you. It is better for you to enter into life lame or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into the everlasting fire. And if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you. It is better for you to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell fire. Matthew 18 verses 6 to 9. WLC Appeal. Be relentless in dealing with your besetting sin of sexual addiction. You are fighting for your life and your eternal destiny is at stake. There is a hell to shun and a heaven to win. Should you not employ every weapon at your disposal in your mother of all battles against Satan and his wicked fallen angels, while Yahushua is still ministering in the most holy place? Reorganize your daily routine and stay out of the places where you succumb to temptation, and avoid at all cost being alone. Weapon number 3. Zealously guard the gate to your eye. Learn from the righteous Job how to guard your gate to your eyes. I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? Job 31 verse 1. Every follower of Yahuwah needs to make a covenant with his eyes and pledge before Yahuwah that his eyes will never wander after a female. This covenant needs to be renewed every hour of the day until the eye is properly disciplined. It is going to be a real battle to properly train the eye, for the eye is most rebellious in this matter, and ever ready to wander in lust after the opposite sex. If Job the righteous needed to make a covenant with his eyes, should not every professed follower of Yahuwah today make the same covenant? WLC Appeal. Do not relent in your ceaseless efforts to train your eyes to not look lustfully at anyone. No matter how long this training takes, persistently seek divine help with full determination to achieve the goal of becoming a modern-day Job when it comes to the disciplining of your eyes. Weapon number 4. Deny Satan's invitation to sin by shouting no to temptation. When Satan tempts you to sin, deny such an invitation by loudly shouting no in his face. Do not worry what others around you may think when they hear you shouting no. The spontaneous verbal expression on your part will please heaven, and an angel will instantly be prompted to come to your aid. Here is what Paul reminds us about our duty to shout no every time we are tempted. For the grace of Yahuwah that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men, teaching us that, denying wickedness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and reverently in this present world. See Titus 2 verses 11 to 12. WLC Appeal. Why would you not want heaven to commission an angel to come to your help when you are tempted? When you loudly shout no to Satan's temptations, you will find instantly the fulfillment of this precious promise. The angel of Yahuwah encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. Psalm 34 verse 7. Weapon number 5. Make yourself accountable to others. This is an extremely powerful weapon in this life and death battle against sexual immorality, and is connected with weapon number 1. It is important to find another man or other men, or another woman or other women, for the women fighting this battle, who will be your partners in your fight, and before whom you will be accountable. To be accountable to these trusted men or women means that you first have to share your weakness with them, and ask them to pray for your specific needs. This means that you will be answerable to them when you fail, and will have to explain to them the reasons for your failure each time you fall. You will have to confess when you have not kept your promises to them or have not abided by their counsel. In the Bible, we find the premise for this powerful weapon in Ecclesiastes 4 verses 9 to 12, New King James Version. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? Though one may be overpowered by another, 2 can withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Again, the same theme is repeated in James 5 verses 14 to 15, King James Version. Is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Master. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Master shall raise him up. And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. Sexual immorality is an infinitely more serious and fatal disease than the worst of physical sicknesses. Sickness may lead to the destruction of the body and eventually to the death of the body. But if sexual immorality is allowed to become incurable, it will lead to the destruction of the body and soul. Thus, when we get seriously sick and are in need of healing, we are counseled by James to seek the help of ecclesia elders to pray over us. How much more then does a sex addict need to seek the help of other trusted followers of Yahuwah when battling sexual sins? Accountability to the Father through trusted friends in the battle against sexual immorality will achieve the following benefits. It will help us be certain that others love us regardless of our weaknesses. It will help us to develop a forgiving spirit towards those who sin against us. It will diminish our lust and sinful desires. It will help us to heal fast from the wounds of our past failures. It will help us to be more intimate, loving, and patient with our spouses and friends. It will help us stop equating sex with love and soul fulfillment. It will help us become better parents. WLC Appeal. Do not delay finding one of your more trusted friends with whom you will share your battles, and through whom you will make yourself accountable to Father Yahuwah. It is a given that a sex addict will be reluctant to open up to others, but in this life and death battle, the sex addict should not hesitate to employ all the weapons that are available. Sooner or later, every hidden secret will come to the light. See Luke 8 verse 17. Would it not be wiser to use this powerful weapon and obtain the needed help than to cover it up until it is made public on our way to hell? It would be more than foolish to hide our sexual immorality and deny the available help at the peril of our souls. Weapon number 6. Seek counsel, seek counsel, seek counsel. The Bible is replete with instructions about the importance of seeking counsel from others. Here are a sample of Bible verses on this matter. For lack of guidance a nation falls, but many advisers make victory sure. Proverbs 11 verse 14. Without counsel purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. Proverbs 15 verse 22. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. Proverbs 20 verse 18. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 24 verse 6. It is a sign of strength and not weakness when a sex addict seeks the counsel of Christian counselors or older Christians. WLC Appeal. When we are faced with a serious physical sickness, we go to a medical doctor for help and guidance. We often check with more than one specialist to ascertain that the diagnosis given is sound and correct. Can the professed follower of Yahushua, who is suffering from the fatal disease of sexual immorality, be less diligent in seeking external counsel from Yahuwah-fearing men? It would be most foolish not to seek such help. Worse, neglecting to seek counsel runs contrary to the admonition of Father Yahuwah, as outlined in the above verses. Again, we plead with sex addicts to seek help and to seek it fast. Weapon number 7. Utilize the power of Yahushua's name when tempted. There is infinite power in the name of Yahushua our Master. When tempted by Satan, utter loudly the name of Yahushua. We have been promised by none other than Yahushua himself that if we ask anything in his name, we will receive it. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go to my Father. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. John 14, verses 12 to 14. When a sex addict is tempted, if he speaks these words, Yahushua, please help me, believing that there is authority in his name, the power of the temptation will instantly vanish. Yes, there is indescribable power in the uttering of his name that will dispel darkness and drive away Satan and his evil spirits. By stretching out your hand to heal, and that signs and wonders may be done through the name of your holy servant Yahushua. Acts 4 verse 30, New King James Version. WLC Appeal. When tempted, do not hesitate for a second to utter loudly, Yahushua, please help me, to resist the temptation and claim the promise, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4 verse 13, New King James Version. There is no temptation that cannot be overcome when you call trustingly on his name. Train yourself to always loudly call his name when tempted, and the needed help will be instantly at your disposal. Weapon number 8. Memorize a list of scriptures to use every time you are tempted. Here is the counsel of David in support of this most powerful weapon. How can a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed according to your word. With my whole heart I have sought you. O let me not wander from your commandments. Your word I have hidden in my heart, that I might not sin against you. Psalm 119, verses 9 to 11, New King James Version. WLC Appeal. Start right away by making your own list of favorite Bible verses that you will memorize and keep repeating every day, especially when tempted. As there is power to be gained from uttering the name of Yahushua, there is also power to be gained from reciting scriptures. After all, is not this how Yahushua himself met Satan's temptations? In conclusion, we urge all of Yahuwah's people who are battling with any form of sexual addiction to immediately begin employing these 8 principles. When these weapons are employed together, they will lead to a lasting victory over all forms of sexual immorality which are plaguing many of his professed followers today. Do not pick and choose from the listed weapons. When you are battling for your life and the life of your suffering family, remember that every weapon of the 8 listed will play a role in weakening your temptations and achieving a lasting victory. There is no time to delay. Probation is about to close, and you need all the help that you can muster to overcome all forms of sexual immorality. Heaven stands more than ready to help, but you must show your readiness and willingness to wage the war. Divine help will come to those who are willing to be helped. At WLC, we are praying for every man and woman engaged in these battles, And we are also praying that divine wisdom will be awarded the affected wives, husbands, brothers, sisters, parents, children, and other family members, so that they can provide the needed support and understanding. May Father Yahuwah shine His holy face on us all, as we resolve to become Yahushua-like. Amen.